Good show, Sherlock. Never doubted anything less from you. Sherlock?
10,000 dead.
Well, yes, that's to be expected.
I wouldn't call it a victory, Mycroft.
You haven't gathered the concept of war yet, brother. This is how the world works now.
Well, it didn't a year ago.
You were a nobody a year ago.
So you keep reminding me.
Don't you feel like we're accomplishing something?
Wars never end happily, Mycroft. People die and families are devastated. What do you think our own parents are thinking?
As all other parents are. They are proud of the work we are doing here. You forget, we're in London. We are able to return home.
We've been in these war rooms for too long, Mycroft.
Time for a drink, is it? Oh. Family conversation. Apologies.
No need to apologise. We were just about to share a glass of brandy, right, Sherlock?
Right.
Care to join us?
Why not?
Here you are.
Thank you. So, what do we toast to?
Winning the war?
Winning the war.
Winning the war. Oh, Watson, you're here.
I am indeed, Sherlock. For the last half an hour, in fact.
You've been watching me sleep. How very undignified.
I was reading the paper, Sherlock. I'm thinking about writing for it.
Writing for the paper, Watson? You are a doctor.
Yes, well, I doubt you remember by now, but, I've been writing memoirs about the cases we worked on together, Holmes.
Ah, yes, indeed.
You have remembered?
No, I've only just heard you now.
Holmes, it's been a week since the local family were murdered by Moriarty. Yet you have remained at Baker Street and have done nothing.
So, why did you want to write for the paper?
Holmes,
I will answer your question, Watson. Please, let's just talk about your writing.
Very well. There was a section in the paper called Lestrade. It used to be its own paper back before the war. But it's now a part of the Times newspaper. They're looking for writers.
So you feel the tales of our crime-solving escapades are of the public interest?
Almost certainly, Sherlock. Think about the exploding man or the Sutherland case.
Idle gossip, Watson.
I think I do some good for the world to hear how great you are, Sherlock.
Well, thank you, Watson.
You're most welcome. Now, like I was saying, you have been in your rooms for a week now.
Yes, I have been thinking back to the war.
Why?
Moriarty told me when we first met that he and I were actually in the war rooms together.
He's a strategist too.
It would appear so. When I saw him again on the night of the Luca couple's murder, he reiterated that fact to me. So I've been taking time to remember the times there. And just now I remembered.
You mean you dreamt it? You're asleep, Holmes.
I remembered it, Watson. It was an early point in the war, 1915 to be precise.
A year in the war.
A little bit less, I think you'll find. February 1915, enemy soldiers stormed across France, 10,000 people dead, spread across both sides.
Oh, I remember.
You were there?
No. But we heard all about it.
I had erased almost everything prior to 1916. This memory, it's new.
Erased? What do you mean?
I'm the way I am because of the war, John. I'm focused, obsessive, and borderline sociopathic. You don't disagree?
I find that you're not like ordinary people.
Well, I was once, in a life that I struggled to remember. That is where Moriarty came into my life.
What did you remember?
Family conflict. Then he appeared in the room. We had to play happy families again. Myself, Mycroft, and this new person, Moriarty, sharing a glass of brandy. Perhaps that's where my love of brandy came from.
Oh, Sherlock.
Now, you are here to help? Or is it just about the folded paper in your jacket pocket?
Oh, I received an urgent letter from the Scotland Yard this morning.
We are to meet him somewhere.
The Houses of Parliament.
Interesting. Well, there can't be a moment to lose.
Holmes and I went to Westminster by motor car. Holmes was reluctant to discuss his past any further. His priority was this new case, if there was one. We arrived and spoke with Inspector Lestrade.
Good morning, Holmes and Watson. You were a bit late.
Apologies, Lestrade. I went to Baker Street to collect Holmes.
Ah, fair enough. So, I'll show you what we have here.
I see.
MP Frederick Johnson, single shot in the head.
Holmes?
I know, Watson. Lestrade, any suspects?
Well, you don't usually ask.
This is a repeat pattern of the Luca couple murder.
Oh yes, true. After you, Mr. Holmes.
May I take a closer look?
Go right ahead.
No other injuries I can see. However, the bullet entered the front of the skull and exited through the back.
So he was facing his murderer. The arm position indicates spasm of the muscle after the bullet entered the body. Is that correct, Watson?
Correct, Holmes. He did indeed have his arms raised.
Lestrade, how did the murderer get away unseen?
We don't know.
Therefore, the shooter was a member of Parliament himself, or a known face.
How can you know that?
Did anyone witness a man or woman fleeing Parliament?
No.
Then therefore he did not need to run, Lestrade. He belonged here in this building, because he is known to the ministers of Parliament.
Mr. Holmes, I hope you're not suggesting that a politician did this.
I am not suggesting, Lestrade, I am telling you. My main lead would be James Moriarty, as I previously inclined. He knows people high-ranking in the government, my brother included. Watson, are your examinations done?
They are.
Then we must go to my brother's home immediately. He will have the answers we seek. Lestrade, thank you again.
Perhaps we should keep an open mind, Holmes. Jumping to conclusions so quickly. It's just not like you.
Watson, haven't you learned anything from our cases together? I typically know most of the answers before I even start the case. This has Moriarty written all over it.
So we're heading to Mycroft's home?
Yes. Tell the driver where to go. You visited there before. I'm going to get some sleep.
Sleep? Sleep? Holmes, this is no time to sleep.
Watson, I'm going to keep trying to remember.
But you can't do that whilst you're asleep.
Watson!
All right. Come along.
We need to mount an attack on Germany's western border.
Agreed, using France as our way in.
Then comes the trouble of numbers. Germany will be a fortress.
Divert soldiers from the southwestern edge here.
Then we leave Austria open to entering. That would be insane. Come on, Sherlock, why else are you here?
Invade from Germany.
I'm sorry?
Invade from the German side.
But we don't have any soldiers in Germany.
Not yet. Germany are one of the central powers for Austria-Hungary. We don't have to take the country, gentlemen. We just have to get through it.
It's a pointless risk.
It's the last thing the Austrians would expect. With Germany assisting them, they would believe that Germany could not be invaded. That works for us.
It would take too much time.
This war will not be ended overnight, Sherlock. Mycroft, what say you?
It's feasible. I shall suggest both plans to the Prime Minister. From there, we shall take steps.
It's very rude to interrupt a conversation.
You were doing it wrong, I'm afraid. You invade from France? You're aiming for Germany, nonetheless. I was just thinking a few steps ahead.
Were you?
Yes, I was. In this war, you have to think ahead. But you, Sherlock Holmes, you don't have that ability.
Enough.
You don't have the authority here. You're only here because your brother didn't want you conscripted into the war. He didn't want to lose his baby brother in the battlefield.
That's not what's happening here.
It's obvious. Everyone says so.
No, they don't.
Haven't you noticed how many staff are getting replaced or sent on the front line, Sherlock? Your brother won't let a bad word be said about you. So whilst you are correct that nobody says anything bad about you, it doesn't stop them thinking it. You mean nothing here.
You're lying.
What value is there in lying when we're at war, exactly?
You want my brother's position.
Now you understand. Yet, no one will ever believe you, not even your own brother.
How dare you?
Now get off me.
Oh.
Never touch me again, Sherlock.
Yes? Yes? Very good. Soldiers were able to smuggle through Germany and through to Austria-Hungary. They uncovered a secret weapon being made against us and the Allies.
What happened?
They stopped it. May God rest their souls.
A good victory.
Quite so. Sherlock? You don't seem happy.
Just thinking about all those who died, Mycroft.
Yes, well, that is the price of war. Good idea, by the way. James Moriarty, right?
That's right, Mr. Holmes.
Please, call me Mycroft. I want you at all of our meetings from now on.
What?
You need to back up your ideas, Sherlock. Moriarty will be the best of us.
Holmes? Holmes! We're here.
Watson? What was that?
I said, we're here.
Ah, excellent. Time to see my brother.
Did you remember anything?
A significant amount, Watson. My brother has a lot to answer for.
Why don't you both take a seat?
I'd rather stand, brother.
Standing off again, Sherlock.
I'm remembering Moriarty from the war rooms.
Ah.
You know more than you let on.
The war made you lose identity, Sherlock. I blame myself for that.
As a doctor, I should ask. You're saying that Holmes has disassociated from himself?
Moriarty saw to that.
How?
He tested you. His abilities of observation are incredible, and you were able to match him exactly. How much do you remember?
He successfully found a way for our soldiers to enter Austria-Hungary. They'd taken out a secret weapon and lost their lives doing it. You were very happy.
Interesting.
What is?
I can see that remembering this is also giving you some of your emotional side back, Sherlock. You remember the guilt you felt.
I lost that in the war.
I remember, Holmes. In our early encounters, especially with Irene Adler, you were uncaring for others' emotions.
Indeed, Watson, but I do not wish to be reminded of those regretful times.
But John Watson makes a fine point, Sherlock. The war changed you, and you are discovering yourself again. Moriarty was the catalyst of your change, and remains so. He is back and must be stopped.
I intend to stop him.
You don't even know what his plan is.
He is orchestrating a situation which is now inevitable.
Which is?
To bring about a second world war.
My God, Sherlock, don't even joke about such a thing.
I do not joke, Mycroft.
Well, how could he do that?
He runs a criminal organisation in Italy called the Red Circle, among his connections to the German woman Irene Adler, along with his business in the opium industry that Watson and I uncovered not too long ago.
And his business in the coal mines, with my wife's father, Arthur Marston.
It all fits, brother. He is weakening the structure of Europe that was created after the signing of the Treaty of Versailles.
Now that we know this, we can stop the war from happening.
It's too late. The wheels are in motion. His network is too vast. War is inevitable.
My God. Then Moriarty must be stopped, Sherlock. At all costs.
Agreed, but I must know what happened to him in the war room.
I'm sure you will remember in time, but he was dismissed for bad behaviour.
Well, that really narrows it down.
Get down!
My private guards will be out any moment.
That's as if they're not all dead already.
We must go.
Mycroft, you've been shot!
It's only a graze in my shoulder. Nothing more.
Driver, we must go to Baker Street.
Holmes, you must drop me off at home.
Watson, now is not the time for...
Damn it, Holmes! My wife could give birth in any day now. I cannot allow her to be without protection.
But Watson...
Moriarty, whoever was able to get into Mycroft's private grounds. Mary is an easy target. I must go!
Very well, my friend. Very well. Thank you, driver. Here's £5. Mycroft, come along.
Why couldn't Mr. Watson leave the motor car on the way?
He gave his reasons, and they were good ones. Now, come along.
Mr. Holmes? And a guest?
Good afternoon, Mrs. Hudson. Could you please tend to my brother? He's been shot in the shoulder.
Brother? Shot?
There are people trying to kill us.
What?
Please. My shoulder?
Right. Of course. Come this way.
Hope you don't mind. I made us tea.
You're in my seat.
It was more comfortable for me. Take a seat.
Very well. Oh. How did you get in?
You've seen my connections. You really think I couldn't find a way into the apartment?
Simple back door.
Little bit of work done to the key lock. That's simple enough system. We did a lot more complex locks during the war, Sherlock.
I don't like you calling me by my first name.
You'll have to get used to it.
So, how are you going to do it?
Do what?
Win the game.
You tell me.
I already know.
Then tell me.
Tell you what I already know.
No. I want you to prove it to me. You haven't touched your tea.
You plan to start a second world war.
Very good.
In fact, the wheels are already in motion, impossible to stop.
Excellent. Have you told anyone yet?
Watson and Mycroft.
Ah, yes. But surely Mycroft should already be dead.
You think?
I sent my best men after him.
Good to know you have people.
Your eyes tell me he's dead. But then again, knowing how turbulent your relationship has been since the war, that could just be your demeanour.
Which one is it?
No matter. It's not as if I don't have contacts in Parliament itself.
Is that why you did it?
Did what?
Killed MP Frederick Johnson.
Jumping to conclusions again.
It matched the Luca couple exactly.
Well, you must know about my network by now, surely.
The same network that paid Irene Adler to obtain the Prime Minister's secrets and then sell them abroad.
You're still annoyed by that. You're Irene. You should be ashamed of yourself.
I'm asking you about why you murdered...
She's German, Sherlock. One of the old Central Powers in our once great war. I know how close you both got.
And Watson's father-in-law?
Pure coincidence. Beautiful coincidence.
Am I supposed to believe that?
Believe what you want. It doesn't change the facts. Anyway, you were telling me my grand plan.
Irene Adler and Arthur Morstan are just one part of it. The Red Circle, based in Italy, designed to destabilise Europe across key players, starting in England with the selling of the information from Miss Adler, along with your assets with Morstan coal mines and multiple drug dens within the opium industry.
You really think I only chose England and Italy?
Well, I know there's more, but then again the Luca couple weren't supposed to run away in the first place. Everything else by default must have gone perfectly for you, otherwise myself or Scotland Yard would already know.
Oh, you really have changed, Sherlock. When we first met, you were a scrawny boy hiding behind your big brother. I heard that you only just started talking to him again. Like us, you were burned by the powerful Mycroft Holmes.
Like us.
Naturally, my network are people made up of those wronged by the war, including some who know you too, Sherlock.
Criminals for my cases.
Quite. Of all these people wronged by the Holmes brothers, they want revenge, and I have promised them that. Does it scare you, Sherlock? It wouldn't be surprising.
There are other ways to make things right, Moriarty.
Not anymore. It's 1930, Sherlock. The war ended 12 years ago. Nothing has been done.
You don't want this. Not really.
No.
This isn't for you. For power or wealth. You just want to watch the world burn.
I want to solve the problem. Our problem. The final problem.
How very apt.
All will become clear, Sherlock, the more time you take to remember. What is it? That little mind palace you go into? John Watson thinks you're sleeping, but you're not, are you?
How do
You
you...
researched the method, taught yourself how to store information deep within your mind. I know that because I do it too. For the record, I killed MP Frederick Johnson because he threatened to expose our operation, Sherlock.
So there are cracks in your network then?
Not anymore. Nonetheless, when the clock strikes midnight tonight, Sherlock, you will fall from that high pedestal you've made for yourself.
You think of me very highly.
Hardly. Oh, and don't try and contact John Watson. I have his house being watched. If he leaves, then he dies. See you soon. You know where to find me.
Interesting. Whoa. A sedative. You... Moriarty. He's...
Oh, Sherlock, there you are.
Have you been looking for me?
Yes, we're having a few drinks tonight. We successfully took back parts of France from the enemy.
All thanks to James, I presume.
Well, naturally.
Right.
What are you writing down?
I'm calculating every move we could possibly make from now on, along with the percentages of success.
Didn't know you had it in you.
Well, you were wrong.
Sherlock, are you jealous of James Moriarty?
Do I need to be?
This is getting very peculiar now. You don't usually talk like this.
You've not been watching, brother. For the last month that James has been stationed here as your apprentice, I've been learning.
Learning what?
Everything. The Prime Minister's private library came in useful.
His personal library?
He wasn't using it.
But it's not your place.
Now I have 5 different ways that we can make moves against the enemy just because I sat down and read for a month. You didn't even notice I was gone, did you? Tell me, Mycroft, am I only here because you didn't want your brother dying on the front line?
Sherlock,
James said that everyone thinks that. This piece of paper will show them otherwise.
So this was all to prove him wrong?
Not quite. James said that he is the best at everything, yet I have outsmarted his manoeuvres at every turn. His recent breakthrough that you're all celebrating would lead to Germany making a stand against the border and taking over the northeast section of France.
What?
Again, I have calculated a way to avoid such an event.
Sherlock, I'm...
Proud? Don't be yet. Try it. See what happens.
Sherlock, wake up.
Mycroft. Moriarty.
The tea was drugged. He was here, wasn't he?
Yes.
Here. Brandy and then some water. Should help you get back to your senses.
Thank you.
What's the plan, Sherlock? What does Moriarty want?
He wants revenge.
Did he say where he was going?
He said I knew where to find him.
And do you?
Not quite, but I know it's close by. How's the shoulder?
Your landlady has removed the bullet, and with a bit of recovery, I should be in top shape.
Good.
What else has he done, Sherlock?
Watson's home is being watched. He cannot leave or else he'll be shot.
So it's just us, Sherlock.
No, brother. It's just me now. Moriarty believes you are dead or is satisfied that you are out of the way. You cannot be seen to leave Baker Street.
Then what will you do?
I must face Moriarty alone.
Don't be silly, brother.
Mycroft, you don't understand. We are always being watched.
That can't be. See, there's no
Mycroft.
one out there. Ah!
Apologies, perhaps you should stay away from the windows.
So why you then?
What?
Why are you the one he must face?
He made me, brother. I must go.
I shall make sure your landlady, Mrs. Hudson, is kept from harm.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Sherlock, you know where to go.
Yes, I do. Good luck, Mycroft.
Hello?
Dr. Watson, this is Mycroft Holmes.
Mycroft? What's happening?
Under no circumstances are you to leave your home.
Excuse me? Why not?
We are all in danger. Moriarty has eyes and ears everywhere.
That doesn't mean I won't go out and assist where I can. I can ask Mary to hide in the basement if needs be.
No, John. She is with child. She must be protected.
Is Sherlock planning a big heroic gesture again?
Not this time.
What's happened?
Holmes has gone to meet Moriarty.
Alone?
I had no choice.
You could have stopped him. I'm going to stop him from doing something foolish.
No, Dr. Watson, you mustn't.
I'm hanging
There
up.
are armed men watching your home.
Explain.
Myself and Mrs. Hudson are in Baker Street in the same predicament.
And we'll be shot if we leave.
Killed.
What is Sherlock planning?
You took longer than I expected.
I had to deal with your men firing upon my apartment.
You had to find out somehow. I did warn you. So, you figured out my clues.
Naturally, the not-so-subtle clues about my fall when the Big Ben strikes at midnight had something to do with it.
The walkway of Tower Bridge, high above traffic and ground.
Even higher above water.
Quite so. Have you remembered everything?
Of course.
It worked, Sherlock. It worked.
I thought it would.
Well, you could be a bit happier about our win.
I'm pleased, brother. That is enough for me.
So, what happened exactly?
Exactly what I predicted, I suspect.
To a detail. The Germans intended on making a move against us on their border. However, Sherlock predicted this and we were able to mobilise before we lost our standing.
You predicted this.
I did. Surprised?
No need to talk like that now. I will go and tell the Prime Minister. Maybe then we can have 2 glasses of brandy each.
How did you do that?
I visited the Prime Minister's personal library
He
and...
let you in?
No, I walked in. I decided to do some reading. I was gone for a month. Did you not notice?
I'll get you for this.
Get off of me, James.
You think this little stunt will impress him? It won't change the way everyone looks at you.
But it will change the way that people see you, and that's what I wanted.
What on earth is going on here? Right, one of you, I suggest you inform me as to what has happened here.
The man is deranged, Mycroft. He tried to strangle me.
James, what do you have to say for yourself?
He's not here because he's clever, Mycroft.
Excuse me?
We know he is only here because you didn't want him dying on the front line.
Enough of your lies. Get out.
I have done fine work here, Mr. Holmes. If you do not recognise that, then...
Then what? You'll join the enemy? I'll sooner have you clamped in irons. Now get out before I have you imprisoned for treason.
You tried to kill me.
The Holmes boys are difficult to kill, I've learned. He removed me from my position, Sherlock. He gave everything I had to you.
I know.
You were out for revenge.
I was, but I was a young man looking for approval, and I'm beyond that now.
Is that your way of saying sorry?
It's my way of making you understand. Even then, saying sorry wouldn't make things right in your mind. So, what now exactly?
It's time to end our shared suffering, Sherlock. Once you are dead, all will be fine with the world.
Until your Second World War.
The war won't be won properly. Have you not seen the chaos left in the world? Germany only being sanctioned. There's a new devil in the world now, Sherlock. He was created by what the Allies did to Germany.
People choose their own paths, Moriarty. Your empire is crumbling, and even as we speak, you are the devil in this equation.
My empire? You are mistaken.
Where would you like me to begin? It all began nearly 10 years ago, when Miss Irene Adler appeared in London and held information of the Prime Minister's secrets. I had Watson follow her. However, I was not, as you might say, the most sentimental of people that I am now. I was still in the mind of the war strategist. Whilst I sent Watson to follow Miss Adler, I had him eavesdrop on your conversation with her. back when you were the mysterious buyer.
I hope you haven't been waiting too long.
Only 10 minutes.
And I sincerely apologise for the delay.
Have you got it?
Yes, all in this parcel. 600 was all I can manage at the moment. Will that be enough?
For now, I'm sure.
I can bring the rest to the docks tomorrow, just before you leave.
That would be very helpful.
Now, Watson was told to follow Irene Adler, but seeing as I was in pursuit of him, I was too nearby. So I opted to follow you. I wanted to know all about this buyer who wanted the private information and who wanted this so badly. So I followed you back to Canning Town Docklands and proceeded to listen to your exchange with the old war chums, who are now workers for your shipments coming in from Europe. You were subtle, private, and most of all, cunning. I knew that the scandal was important, but now I knew there was a network working within London. But would you like to know what I noticed the most?
What was that exactly?
John Clay. Since the war, he and I had met a handful of times, but I knew his face. I had my chance there and then, and yet I could not take it. My urge to close the gap, complete the chase, was strong, but I knew that whatever you had planned, it would be worse if I had made myself known.
You couldn't have known back then.
On the contrary, didn't I mention I was a heartless and cold strategist?
You did. Not even you could have had the foresight for that.
That's because you hold me to the same level of you. In your mind, there is no one better.
That still doesn't explain how my empire is crumbling, Sherlock. From what I hear, you have simply known me since 1921. That's hardly grounds for what you are claiming.
Precisely. Now, it wasn't too long until we apprehended John Clay with the Red-Headed League, as you know. There was one chapter closed, but I knew you were still out there. Many years passed, and I would still go down to the Department of Records where I was permitted after my bravery in the war, and I found that Arthur Morston's coal mines had a stakeholder who was sat on the board, and their emblem was that of the Tower Bridge itself, which is the very bridge that we now stand on. Why was that of significance, do you think? Because it happened to be the same emblem on that person, who was John Clay, who worked for you, thus establishing a link between yourself and Arthur Morston. When Watson came to me a year later about his reservation of his father-in-law, I jumped at the chance to meet Mr. Morston himself. The murders were not anticipated, and that's when I found myself coming to the conclusion that he was killing the new board of directors. Now, why was that? Because of you, Moriarty. You wanted ownership of the coal mines, just as you have ownership over the opium distribution throughout London, even the Red Circle in Europe, along with your connections in Parliament. You wanted war, and you've spent the last decade ensuring that it happens.
Again, I fail to see where this affects my empire.
The only time I've ever done it, but I kept a file on all of this. Even a pair of the cufflinks from the Morston murders. It was all so clear when I knew it was you. Arthur Morston took the cufflinks to hide your involvement. And now it's all clear in the document that I have now kept.
I will have your apartment destroyed.
Too late, I'm afraid. You see, my brother is alive, Moriarty. I asked him to make a phone call in my absence.
What?
He has called Scotland Yard, and I would assume that Lestrade and his officers will be at Baker Street now. No time for your trained killers to shoot anyone, not even you would be so stupid. Nothing to say?
It's important, you know, that I will find the cruelest of ways to end your dear friend's life, and that of his wife and child. Apologies this had to be done so quick, Sherlock. I wanted something more dignified, but if you must play dirty, then I can only return the favour.
Gunshot wound, no feasible survival. Moriarty's aim is precise. My head, my mind. I have seconds. There were too many variables, too much to process. There's only one course of action, only one way that Watson will survive. Whoa!
No! You've lost, Holmes. Now, you a fool.
I have him. He thinks only one thing of me, self-centered. I'm about to prove him wrong. Goodbye, Watson.
Goodbye, Sherlock Holmes. No.
No, I believed the people on the bridge when it happened. 2 people falling from the sky into the Thames, but it happened. That was Sherlock Holmes and James Moriarty falling to their deaths. Moriarty's body washed up almost immediately. He landed in the shallow waters. Holmes's body was never recovered. People said they saw a body washing down the Thames. Even if he survived, he surely would have drowned after such a fall. This is my first entry to the Strand section of the Times, after many weeks of thinking. It was my wife, Mary Watson, who persuaded me to begin writing about my late friend. She and I recently become parents to 2 amazing daughters. The new chapter was beginning, and this was my way of letting go of the past. Holmes believed war was on the horizon. He showed us what it means to be a man in those situations, and also how poorly you can turn out, like Moriarty. This foreword is dedicated to Sherlock Holmes. And now we begin with the tale of a man of war, can be brought back to the land of peace. We've been doing this every Monday morning since either of us could remember. This particular chess game we played before everything changed for Sherlock Holmes. The woman is, of course, referring to. No point being clever, Watson. Your bishop is mine, said Holmes in a smug tone. I doubted him. Best concede the game now and save yourself a defeat, he said smugly again. This was Holmes's way of letting the loser down lightly, but as we would grow to become, our equality would become more fruitful.